Hey, everybody. It's Krista, and I want to wish you all happy Friday, happy holidays. Um, this is actually my last live for now because next week I'm not going to go live. I'm going to let everyone have a Christmas. Um, but I really have some good stuff to talk to you about today. So sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. I had a good coaching session. And if you guys have ever worked with me, you'll know that I hate to leave people hanging. So I had to finish it to the end. So running a few minutes late. But I hope everyone's doing okay. And I can't believe if you're like me, it's the countdown to the end of the year. It's pretty exciting to think that we're going to be entering a brand new year in just a few days. So are you guys ready? You guys ready for the new year? Hello, Mary. Happy holidays. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic that I'm sure a lot of you have been exposed to. It's about launching, right? And now there's a lot of reason for you to create a digital product. Who should be creating a digital product? First of all, is a lot more than you think. Anybody can create a digital product if you have experience, knowledge, passion, talent in any area. You can monetize on those things by creating a digital product. Today, it's never been easier in all of the time to do a digital product. Number one. So that's number one, is anybody. I'm talking to you. I'm not just talking to business owners. I'm not just talking to, full-time entrepreneurs. You can have a full-time job and launch an amazing digital product. And so why are some of the things that why should you launch a digital product, right? So the reason you should launch a digital product is because the way that people consume information today is mostly mobile, especially with COVID. So COVID opened up a whole new reason for creating digital. In fact, my business personally exploded because I have had a lot of people who quit their jobs, or whose person-to-person business was so impacted that they woke up and they're like, I need to have digital products. Okay. So not only should anybody consider creating a digital product, but it's never been more important because we're consuming things at a distance. COVID has changed that forever. And even if we go back to normal, you're going to see that you're not going to regret having built a digital arm of your business. Okay. I know people who do in-person events, speaking, all kinds of things. Please consider building a digital product because, and that's what I'm going to tell you today, because it's never been easier. There's never been a time where it's been easier. So I just want to shout out a few people here and say thank you guys for stopping by. Hello, Vicky. Nice to see you. I really appreciate you coming. You said digital allows you to reach more people, how they consume information, and it's available. So have you guys noticed? Think about the company that flourished the most during COVID was Amazon. People today love on demand. Look at Netflix, Amazon, all these on-demand companies popping up for anything and everything, right? Because we really like our convenience, and that is addictive. It's not going away. On the contrary, I'm always looking for ways with my clients to help people make their products more accessible and more available and more 24/7 for people. Yes, Brenda, yeah, Mary is here. Let's see who's launching a LinkedIn Accelerator Academy. Yay. I love it. And Mary, you're so qualified to do that. You've put in so much effort on LinkedIn. Anybody watching should definitely follow Mary. She's got some really good stuff, and we will support you however we can. And let's see, we've got who else is here? Let's see, we've got um gosh, I'm not seeing all. Let's see, Brenda. Brenda is filling up your launch a new company and filling up your store with digital products. Yay. Um, well, okay. So let's hit it. So everyone should try to launch a digital product. There is no excuse. Let's talk before I go into the success of it. Let me just say that you can launch a digital product with almost no investment. All you need is you need a passion and a knowledge for a certain topic. You need an audience of who is this product going to be for. And then you have a lot of tools at your disposition. And believe me, you can find ways of doing it for almost free. All right. Um, you can produce a lot of videos with a free version of Zoom, for example. Zoom, you could get the free version of Zoom. You could record a video series where you cut up and you say, okay, here's module one, here's module two, or lesson one, lesson two, however you guys want to spin it. Then you could have some PDFs that correspond to each lesson. And you could be like, okay, here's module one. You've got a video and a downloadable. Here's module two, a video and a downloadable for free, because you can use the free version of Zoom and you can use a tool like Canva. I'm sure anyone shout out who uses Canva to create their assets for their products. Love Canva. It's a game changer for digital marketers and for entrepreneurs, because even with the free version, you can do some amazing things. Hey, Chris, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, Wana, nice to see you. So definitely, guys, I just want to say how easy it is to make a digital product. So what should you make your digital product about? So this is where I think people get a little bit off topic. A lot of the mistakes I see that entrepreneurs make, and why I wanted to make this live today, is people start with building a course and then trying to market and sell it. And guess what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you to do the exact opposite. I'm going to tell you to sell your course first and then to build it. Now, that might come as a shocker, because you're like, well, isn't that deception? I'm like lying to people, like, come buy this course that doesn't exist. No. And the reason is because the audience should always come before the product. What that means is that you should work first and foremost to build an audience of people who have a problem that you're listening to. You're doing a lot of social listening. You're doing a lot of questions. You're participating and taking notes about all the problems in this topic that you are an expert in. And the more micro audience you can do, the better. All right. And once you've got a really good idea about what these people are struggling with, then you start testing. You can test through a lot of things. You can test by coaching a lot of people. And over time, you learn, like, okay, if 20 people have the same problem, this is probably something I should build a digital product to answer, to solve. You can test by launching your own group, your own community, right? And putting in there polls, questions. You can test by offering mini courses. I love to do mini courses because it's a low commitment, right? So I get people who sign up for like a 1 day or a 2 day or something easy and quick. And I gather all the feedback from them. All right. All this information comes together, and that's how you make an amazing course. All right. And also, you can just ask people, hey, if I built something to solve this, like a step-by-step guide to do XYZ, who would be interested? and gather feedback. And when you hear their feedback, message them, do a DM directly to them and say, thanks so much for answering. Can I ask you a couple of more questions? Because I'm trying to build a product to solve that issue. And then you have some questions you ask. All of that goes into building this really amazing product. But the audience should always come first, okay? I see Phil, apparently pre-selling is more common than one might think. Amy Porterfield talks about this often. Yes, she does. And she is like the godmother of digital marketing, isn't she? So if Amy Porterfield tells you to do it, then we just have to follow what she says. So if you don't believe me, believe somebody who's been in the industry forever, who's like a cornerstone person of digital marketing. And she knows what she's talking about. Vicky says she built hers before pre-selling and it didn't sell. So Vicky, this is the main mistake of people I coach. People I coach fall into two categories. People who are just completely newbie, thinking about starting a business, completely just getting started, don't have any assets. Or the other half are people who've been doing business for a while and hire me because they want to go further and they're kind of stuck. They've tried stuff out and it hasn't really taken off how they want it to. And they're thinking, I just need somebody outside of my world to help me get unstuck, because there's nothing more valuable than getting feedback from somebody who's not too close to you. And that's why they hire me. And the sad part is some people have invested quite a heavy dollar amount in building these courses. Like they've hired graphic designers, they've hired, you know, Kajabi developers, web developers. Like they've really invested in it, and then it just doesn't sell. And the biggest reason it doesn't sell is because they built it before testing it on their audience. All right. My audience doesn't really know I'm testing stuff on them. I don't announce it. I'm not like, oh, I'm thinking about building this course. Let me test it on you. I'm just constantly doing it. And I'm taking notes and I'm thinking about things. I'm getting feedback. Phil says, yeah, I've heard others say this. It makes sense. It really does. And Mary says DMs are magical. So actually, last night I did a sales workshop. And in my sales workshop, I give away my playbook, my sales playbook. And I'm going to give you guys all a little tip. What I like to do is I like to set up 30-minute time blocks over my week. And I say, okay, I'm going to pretty much set my timer for 30 minutes and I'm going to DM as many people as I can. And I want to keep those conversations going. And if you plan out, let's say you're trying to grow, if you plan out, let's say 2 to 3 hours a week in 30-minute increments over a 7-day period, you would be amazed how many conversations you can have with people. Sales is all about relationships. How are you going to sell people your course if you're not DMing them, and not in a spammy way, in a conversational way, in a curious way? Mostly to listen, ask the right questions, and people will love to tell you what they want. We don't need any more courses. What we need are solutions. And instead of thinking I'm doing sales, tell yourself I'm solving people's problems. So when you tell me I'm going to launch something, we tend to put this maybe impersonal block between us and the customer. So instead of focusing on, oh, how many courses can I sell, focus on how many people can I help. And think about, instead of the course sales, think about testimonials, right? So you can sell a lot of courses, but not many people actually complete the course. They don't take it because in most of the softwares, like I'm a Kajabi user, you can see the percentage completed. It's a lot harder than you think to get people to take the course. And if you're thinking, oh, well, it's okay because, all I care about is their money, well, that sucks, okay? Frankly, because you should be thinking about how many people got value out of your course. And how do you know they got value? Well, they took the whole thing and they gave a testimonial, they left feedback, they gave a review. Most importantly, they just had good experience with what you're teaching. Otherwise, why are you even doing a course? Only do a course when you want the people to actually use it. So instead of focusing on selling the course, think about how can I really solve their problem? And then how can I make it even better? So I give lifelong access to all of my courses because I want to make them better. So if I find, okay, every year I'm going to review, is this still what's going on or can I add something else to it? Um, it's super important. Hi, Zach. I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for stopping by. Vicky says, definitely save your money until you know what your audience wants first. Heck, that is so important, but it's like, I think it's almost a way of being like, fearful. It's like, I'll be in my corner building my course, do you guys know what it takes to get ready for a launch? It's nerve wracking. I mean, anyone in the audience ever done a launch? Raise your hand if it's stressful. Okay? It's a lot of work and it's very stressful. And then not to sell enough or not to actually get any results is absolutely soul crushing. All right? So save your money and save your nerves. All right? Vicky says, I always tell people that sales is having a conversation. Exactly. That's exactly how it should be. And Mary says you're not doing a course. Exactly, because most people don't finish courses. I love it. I love that you're doing a hybrid, and that's what I have too. So I run two programs that are both hybrid programs. And that's how I find people learn best. Let's see. Yes, Vicky, yes, it's so stressful. It's so stressful. So that's why I'm doing this live today too, because I want to send my love to all of you who've ever tried to launch something and it didn't take off. It's not your fault. It's absolutely a very typical reaction of how we think we should do something. We think that we should go and prepare it and make it beautiful and make it smart and invest time and money and effort. And then we put it out there and everyone will just come and love it. And in reality, it doesn't work that way. And this isn't just for a book. This isn't just for a course, by the way. This could be a membership. This could be a book. This could be any digital product. You put it out there and you're like, okay, the hard part is over, when really the hard part is selling it. So definitely. And Kenneth, hello. He says, what if someone has a venture so big, all of us want to roll up their sleeves? That's great. I think that we all are trying to serve an audience. So ultimately, that's the goal. The goal is to serve your audience. So think about how you're doing that. Whether it's a course, maybe that's not the best option. You need to try out several things. So as a coach, I talk about the 12 income streams. You guys have probably heard of this, that you should be thinking about multiple revenue streams. But one of the biggest reasons isn't just for money. It's because some people want one-on-one coaching. Some people, they would prefer to just go to a live masterclass. Other people are just like, look, I just want to read self-help books. And maybe it's not just want, it's also your income, disposable income, how much you can afford, how much you can invest. So if you're building multiple products, they're all going to go back to the core that you teach. They're just going to be different price points, different outputs, and you'll help everybody. So, and this is something that is controversial. A lot of coaches believe that you should just kind of, I do one-on-one coaching. That's what I do. And I don't do anything else. For me, that's too risky. You're putting all your eggs in one basket and you're not helping everybody that you can, because there's people who don't want to do one-on-one coaching. There's people who can't afford it. So that's why I put out memberships. I have courses, I have hybrid programs, and you keep testing, right? Louisa says having weekly or even more frequent live Q&As during the course duration helps. Love it so much with testimonials and people. So that is so true. In fact, one of the things that I do, Louisa, is since I'm a Kajabi user, you can create an announcement. And at the top of my course page, when you log in, there is a reminder to put into your schedule to book the reoccurring Zoom calls that we have, to note the YouTube live videos that we have, to note the webinars we have. And then you click on it and add it to your schedule, and I keep that updated so that people know every month when is there going to be calls. And I've done Zoom calls with the group. I've done YouTube lives, and I've done webinars, Zoom webinars. And it works. It works because people would rather show up and know that they're still part of the group, right? Mary says, yes, 100%. That's why I built in weekly QA sessions. Yes, absolutely, Mary. I think it's actually, I call those office hours. Office hours is just show up and support one another. Hey, honey, Justin's here. Diversified service delivery model. Yes, Will, exactly. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you're always going to see that some people need different things. And it's not about trying to please everyone. You can't please everyone, but putting out different formats of the same thing. I really like what Mary's doing. I do that too, as the hybrid model, because I think that, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of BS out there. I think a lot of people will tell you, oh, just build a course and that's the secret to everything. They're just selling you pipe dreams. In reality, no, it's not that easy at all. It's tricky. So if you really want to have a six-figure launch, build your community first around your topic, around solving a problem, and use those people as your beta group. You can even offer a mini trial period for free in exchange for feedback. So you don't have to do a massive launch. You can say, hey, I'm building a group around this topic. It's going to be over a period of 6 weeks. It would include like weekly calls, and I'm building some curriculum around it. Would you commit to it? And then you find people who are willing to commit, because if you give anything for free, there's a big risk that people don't really commit. So please be careful about that, but it can work. It can really work if you have this small group and you get to understand what they need. And I've done that before. I did that like 2 years ago. I did like a short-term free group once a week to get feedback, to understand what I was going to build for a bigger audience. And then let's talk about some of the recipes for success, okay, in a good launch. So once you've gathered feedback and you think you know what people want, the three big components of a successful launch, okay? Number one, the audience. I've said this more and more, but I'm going to say it again. Number two is a time frame. So be really, really clear about the time frame. Is this a limited time offer? Is there a specific launch date? Really get people to understand the time frame of this offer, okay? Because it's been proven that people are much more likely to buy something if there's a countdown timer associated. There's a deadline. It just motivates people more than if you just are like, oh, just come by whenever you feel like it, right? That's why some of the big coaches like Amy Porterfield, um, Pat Flynn, Stu McLaren, a lot of these big coaches, they only do launches once in a while because they don't want people just coming in all the time. And I'm thinking, so another thing that really plays a big role in your launch is your clarity around what they're going to be getting. Talk a lot about the value they're going to be getting out of this launch. And that's going to really motivate people because they need to know, is that what I'm looking for at this time? Because believe me, we all need a lot of things and we have to we can't buy every offer, right? So we have to limit ourselves to, I think I'm going to invest in this right now. This is what I need most. And believe me, this isn't always an easy decision, especially when you start your business and you're like, I need a lot. I need to learn all kinds of different things. So it can really help if you're very, very clear. Another thing that would really help with your launch is if you do early bird pricing versus regular pricing. So, for example, for one of my communities out of the two I run, I did a founder's price. And the founder's price I'm keeping, it's a year program. So for the first year, everybody gets the founder's price and then they get grandfathered into that price, okay? And not everyone's willing to do that, but I am. And I think it's a great decision because it makes people feel like, they're being rewarded for being the first people in the group. And let's see what else we got. We got a lot of great people on this coming in the show today. So where's the platform that takes on large businesses in startup mode, a business that will carry thousands of other businesses? That I don't know how to answer that, Kenneth. Maybe someone in the audience can answer that. I don't think there is an ideal platform. I think you build your community and then you can develop that into something much larger, right? So once you find your micro audience, you define who are the people that really care about that topic, then you can count on them to become super fans and become your ambassadors to carry the message out further and the word will spread. So I hope that answers a little bit. So Zach, wow, 30K launch. So Zach, tell us more. I think that you have to really understand when people do these launches, what's important to understand is what went into it. Like I don't really get impressed by numbers anymore because Zach and everyone watching, because a lot of times I've met people who made 30K and they invested 30K. So they made $0. I've met people who made 60K but invested 20K. So they made 40K. So, you never know what the real situation is. Or I've met people who've launched, but it took them 4 years to launch. So for 4 years, they weren't making any money. And then finally they launched. So there's so many different scenarios that it's hard for me to judge. But I do know one thing. It is a great thing to listen to case studies. So when someone tells me, okay, I'm very happy with my launch, then I'd love to understand and ask them questions about what their advice was, how long it took them, how much they invested, how many people were involved in this launch. Was it a whole team of people or was it just you? I think it's really hard to launch by yourself, by the way. I think it's great to have the right team on board and invest in your launch. Let's see. Louisa says, sell to founding members for a big discount and ask them to help you create it. Absolutely. And then then you know what's going on and you get feedback. So you're in it together. I love that. And that's kind of what I do too. Phil says, build in scarcity. Michael Hyatt talks about this. Yes, absolutely. So definitely has to start out small, right? I think that once you find your ideal audience, then it's a process. You definitely have to work together to solve that problem. And the more you understand about the value of community, the more successful your launch is going to be. So think of it in terms of launching together. Um, but I love putting a time frame around your launches. So some people don't believe in launches. They say no launches. I just am going to have an ongoing enrollment, open enrollment. Um, and that can work for some people. Others go for the once a year or twice a year model. It feels a lot more risky, but there's some case studies that show that people do tend to sign up more when the doors close. So when you do an actual launch and you close your doors, I don't know if anyone in the audience has had a launch like that, but those are the two big types. Either you just have an ongoing enrollment with no launch, or you have like a 6 month or a 12-month launch. And I've done both. And I can tell you that it really depends on your audience, but I do like having some time frames around it in general. Um, Now, one of the things we haven't talked about for a successful launch is the nurture part. So, if you really want to launch successfully, you want to nurture the people who you want to attract into your community over a longer period of time. Um, so be in it for the long haul. Think about, how can I be nurturing people over the next 6 to 12 months? And so instead of thinking about short term quick wins, think about, I want this to be something that grows with me, that's more sustainable, and you'll have better results than and just better expectations, right? If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to build something and launch it in the next 30 days, it depends on where you're at. The truth about launches is, when I see people have like really successful launches, usually they did one of two things. They built a community over a longer period of time. So then you see, well, of course, they've got 1 million Instagram followers. They've got, 1 million Twitter followers. And so they have already invested for a longer period of time to growing that before they launched. So then their launch was quicker and more successful. And the other thing they did was they invested in ads, right? So a lot of people I know who launch invest a lot of money in ads. And let's see, Kenneth, people who have a similar problem solving, um, the best way to find people who have a problem like you have is to talk about it regularly. You can't talk about it once or twice. You have to talk about it more often. And trust me, you will find people for everything, you know? Network as much as you can, and use hashtags, use SEO, find people who are talking about what you're interested in, you know? And then see if you can. Also, another thing I would recommend for a successful launch is, you don't have to look far. Look at the people who succeeded. So look for case studies, um, and study what they did, what helped them, take ideas from other people. Louisa says the first launch is not likely to be very successful. Um, yeah, I agree. I mean, what is success? I don't think you can have success without failure. So I don't set expectations. I think it's ridiculous when someone's like, well, I set the number of goal that I need to make so much money from my launch. I say, worry about helping a few people, worry about getting testimonials, getting real results for a couple of people. And once you have that, another thing that's really good is to create an ambassador program. So you offer everybody in your founding member group the possibility to earn money by promoting your course. and go out and share the word for you, all right, in exchange for some affiliate commission. And that can really help your course. Let other people do the marketing for you. Louisa says growing your email list with less magnets. So I don't know why you're doing less magnets. I'm curious because I like having lead magnets, and I think that there is value in having different lead magnets. In fact, when I coach people, I teach 20 different lead magnets. And it doesn't mean you need to create 20 magnets. I'm teaching you, here are all the things that can work for you as a lead magnet. And you try 2 or 3 and you evaluate which one really people love. All right. But in my experience as a digital marketer, I rarely see one lead magnet that's enough. Usually there's a couple of lead magnets that work. In the end, you settle on a star. You have like one signature lead magnet, but there's definitely going to be a lot of different lead magnets over the course of your business. But the main thing, what you said, Louisa, is super important because we need to have an email list. You can't have a successful launch without an email list. I'm sorry, guys, I've been sick. Will says, I had to move on from seeking success to recognizing growth. That's true. I think that success happens through failure. So I think you shouldn't be totally obsessed with, oh, I didn't meet the numbers. I didn't sell as many things as I want. Instead, focus on being a problem solver. Think, okay, what is the problem that I know the audience has? And yesterday, when I did my sales workshop, I talked about not lumping all leads together. For example, I'm a business coach. I have vastly different problems than 10 other business coaches. And why is that? Because we all come from different backgrounds and we're all at different stages in our business. And number 3, we all have different goals. So instead of just coming up with a package solution and saying, look, I developed a course for business owners or business coaches, you can't do that. You need to go into a micro audience. So you have to say business coaches who have never done an online business before. So they came from like corporate and then they became business coaches. Number 1. Number 2, business coaches who are just starting out in the first couple of years, who are trying to build things and develop it. Number 3, business coaches who've been in business for years and years and years. All right. You cannot lump people together. You will fail if you just start targeting business coaches and hoping something sticks. That's a just crazy, ridiculous strategy. Really focus on learning who your micro audience is. I call it the niche of the niche. And once you have that niche of the niche, just hang out with them as much as possible. DM them as much as possible. Don't sell to them. Learn from them. Stalk them. I mean, literally, like, do a lot of social listening. Like, watch what they post. Subscribe to their emails if they're business owners, find out what they're doing and support them. Just show up for them. Will says there's definitely been a lot of problem solving. Yay. LinkedIn is a great place for problem solving, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help each other. And I think the reason I wanted to do this live today, guys, is because I really think there's a lot of confusion about launches. And I don't think that I think there's a lot of misconception. All right. Like I said, a lot of times when you see people publish their results and they're like, oh, I'm so excited. I just made so much money from my launch, or, it was so easy and everything. It's not true. They already have spent a lot of time and a lot of money behind the scenes. All right. Like I said, they either had a large audience that they built over time via an email list, via social media growth, and probably both if they're smart, and a community. So if you spent a lot of time and effort to build a free community, which is a lead magnet, by the way, um, and then you sell something to your community, you're going to do well because your community loves you, they trust you, and you've earned it. All right. So who are you to come out of the blue without putting any work in, build some fancy shiny object, and then expect people to buy it? That's not going to fly. So you have to do the exact opposite. You have to put in the time and effort to build up a community, build up an email list, do a lot of social networking, a lot of DMs, a lot of social listening. Put in all that effort to understand the needs of your micro community, of your micro audience, and then start building solutions with a small group and do a soft launch. So I'm a big fan of doing a soft launch in order to build something better and bigger. Don't put a lot of effort into the building part. Do not spend time and money and effort building this fancy course that no one wants to buy. Work with your small micro audience, to understand better, is this working? Do we do weekly calls? What are the problems they're talking about during those calls? And then go off and build something bigger and then start widening it. And then maybe you plan an official launch. Okay. Thank you so much, Mary, for stopping by. Great to see you, and good luck with your launch in February. I love it. So guys, if you guys have any more questions about launches, I'd love to always chat with you. Will says, that's so true. I've worked on this problem for close to 15 years. And so, Will, there's a problem here. And the problem is you say I. So it has to be we, right? So the whole problem with having the whole secret of having a 6-figure launch is the we part. We need to be together with our audience as much as possible. And most people aren't doing this enough. Why is that? Because we're kind of in our bubble. It's like me, me, me. And the way we approach our audience, unfortunately, is often, I've got a solution. Here it is. Buy it, right? When really, we should be approaching our audience with an open, non-judgmental, non-assuming mind. So we should never assume that you have the problems that I think you have. Just because you've got this title like business coach does not mean that you have the same problems as me, or vice versa. So instead of lumping all of our prospects, all of our audience into one category, you need to see them as 3 different audiences. You've got people who are at different stages. You've got people with different dreams and different goals, and you've got people with different problems. All right. So go deeper and say, I want to help business coaches who are just starting out their business. So what does that look like? It means they've been in business for under 2 years. Let's just say that, because by the end of 2 years, either you're out of business or you kind of figured out what you're going to be doing, right? They've been in business for under 2 years. They're not making a consistent 6-figure income yet, and they struggle mostly with sales. And once you define those 3 criteria, then it's much easier to start networking just with those people and build products around what they're telling you. Okay? So you should be doing it we, not I. And certainly not over here in my little computer corner and I'm busybody creating a course. No, you should be with your people in your community and do a soft launch with a small group of people to really validate that what you think is correct and get feedback before you build something. All right. Thanks, Zach. It's great to see you here. And I'm hoping that you can share with us some of your secrets and your advice about launches, because we all have like our war stories, right? We all have our stories of the launch that failed terribly, the launch that went way more than we ever expected. And after working with so many coaches to launch their products and so many business owners to launch their products online, the ones that really succeed are the ones that are so tapped into their micro audience community. And that's where they spend all their time and attention, and people grow to love them. They actually have built super fans around themselves. And then they launch something, and pretty much anything will sell. It doesn't even matter if it's, I've seen people sell things that were in such bad state. I'm talking Google Slides, no graphics, just like literally, and people wanted their stuff because they loved the person. They believed and trusted the person. So worry about that most. Don't worry about the fancy bells and whistles. You know, we spend so much time doing the wrong priorities. Thank you, Louise. I appreciate that. Consistently providing small doses of value for your community to warm them up. Yes. Thank you. I wish you a happy holiday, and I'm happy you stopped by. Will says, the past 5 months have been more small group focused. Thank you. I love that. Six-figure launch. If you want that, build the we. And one last thing I'll say that is so important. Do you really want to build trust with people? You have to show up consistently. So one of the mistakes people think is that you can just build something and it will sell. You have to nurture people over a longer period of time, okay? And that, how do you nurture people best? You do it by showing up consistently, all right? And the biggest mistake, I'm going to say it right now, that people make that can destroy, that really determines the success of their launch, is their email list. All right. Please, most business owners, they always regret not building their email list earlier. All right. And one of the best ways to build your email list is what I did. Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago on this channel, I did a live about everything you need to know about launching a newsletter. Today on LinkedIn, if you turn on creator mode, you automatically get a newsletter. How great is that? And I did a live 2 weeks ago. You can find it in my channel about how to build a newsletter. Well, of course, if you can build a newsletter, you're going to get subscribers. But I did the live because I really don't want to get any more junky newsletters. So please watch my live, because I really want you to take the time and not just be like, oh, look at me. I'll just put something out there. No, please take the time to design a good topic for your newsletter. Please. And then you will build your list over time with the newsletter. Subscribers, you'll get more and more subscribers. All right. And that's what I've done. And it's paid off. You will directly see a link to your sales numbers with the number of subscribers that you have, because you've built trust over time, and it will pay off. Yes, Phil. Oh my gosh, you're talking about me. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much, Phil. Happy holidays. And by the way, I hope to see you later tonight when we have our little party online. Guys, it's been such a pleasure. I don't know, I'll probably try to do one more live by the end of the year, but this is probably next Friday. I won't, because of the holidays. So if I do, I'll announce it at a different time, because I don't want to really, I want people to take some time off, but make 2022 your best year ever. Start off the year right by thinking, I have value to offer. Every one of you right now has skills, talents, interests, passions. very unique things to give to the world. What is your gift? What is the gift that you know you want to share with the world? Don't think about monetizing right away. People come to me as a business coach saying, "Hey, I need you to teach me how to make money." Then they're not for me. I always say, look, go to YouTube, find a video, how to make money. Look for a good, rich, quick scheme. That's not what I do. What I do is I help people share their gift and I help them scale it so that they can reach a large amount of people. The more you solve other people's problems, you will never have to worry about money. There will always be somebody who will reach out to you and say, I want to hire you. I'm willing to pay for your time, your advice, your knowledge. You are valuable. Don't ever let yourself or anyone else make you think differently. All right. How is that gift being used right now? Give it to the world. Whether you start a newsletter, whether you start a YouTube channel, you start producing videos, whether you do a blog, put that out there. Just start. Don't overthink it. No one cares about your fancy logo. You don't have to overthink some fancy name of calling it. Just show up and start doing that regularly. Sooner or later, you will find your tribe. Your people are out there waiting for you. I've seen people start micro communities based on anything and everything. You do not need numbers. You do not have to think, oh, I need 1 million people. All you need is 100 super fans. You just need a couple of people who value you. All right. And with that, you can become a massive problem solver. So I hope this was helpful. And well, Phil, don't worry. If you can't make it, you can be there in spirit with us tonight. And Will says, watch out 2022. That's the spirit. I love to hear that. But don't ever think that people don't want to hear what you have to offer or that you have to come up with something special that makes people feel, oh, no. Just put out there what you know, what you love, what's your mission? What's that gift inside of you that you want to share with other people? And that's what makes you even inspiring other people. That's all you need to do. Show up, do it regularly, and be authentic. You will not have to worry about anything. You will have a successful launch after you've earned it, not before. Thank you guys for listening and have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays. And if you ever have any questions about what we're talking about here, any ideas for future lives, or you just want to reach out and say hi, I'm here on social media to be social, so don't be shy. You can reach me on every platform under my name, Krista Molione, or on my website, kristamolione.com. And if you like what I'm saying, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you guys on my channel. Let me just put this in the link to end it so you know where to go. And I hope this is the right link. Let me just check if this is the right link. And then I'm going to let you guys get on with your lovely Friday. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. And there we go. So that is the right channel. Yep, there you go. So if you're just watching me for the first time, I am a business coach, a marketing strategist. I've been doing this for 20 years. So I'm the real deal. And I help small, early start business owners grow. And so we'll be covering anything and everything concerning business foundations, marketing strategies, and sales, obviously sales, and mindset. Don't forget mindset. Mindset is the overarching thing. So I'll leave you with those thoughts, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care.